Good morning and welcome to another Friday Ramble. As I look out of the window at the moment, it's not a very good morning really. I don't know how the weather's been with you. It's not been a great week really here. Although last Sunday we did wake up here in the north to more than a covering of snow. We had 3 or 4 inches of snow. It was fantastic. The sky was blue, the sun was out, and we were able to go out in the snow. My children were out in the snow most of the day, snowballing, sledging. It was a lot of fun. Even the dog got excited. I think he'd forgotten what snow was like. But the rest of the week's been pretty dreary, hasn't it? And the news hasn't helped. It's pretty tough at the moment, really. It feels like Groundhog Day every day. Which day is it today? But I assure you, it is Friday today. So I hope you've had a good week and achieved some of the things you wanted to achieve, or maybe just had a snooze. And it's great that so many people are getting the vaccine. My 92-year-old dad is getting his vaccine this morning. Extraordinary though, he's got to be taken about 6 miles to go and get it from his care home. Haven't quite worked that one out, but at least he's getting it. I don't really know whether he's excited or not. He kept forgetting which day it was he was having it. But there we go. Anyway, how did you get on with Quickfire 5 last week? I had 3 people send in to me to say that they'd got 5 out of 5. So I think people are getting a little bit confident now. So maybe I have to start making it a little bit harder. But here are the answers from last week's quiz. So the first question was, where would you find my cat Jeffrey? And the astute ones of you who know your music by Benjamin Britten will know that that comes from his wonderful anthem, Rejoice in the Lamb, which was written for the 50th anniversary of the consecration of St Matthew's Church in Northampton, and commissioned by that priest that we've heard of before, Walter Hussey. The text, it's fascinating, the text of Rejoice in the Lamb was written by Christopher Smart, who wrote it while he was in a lunatic asylum. It's got that sort of feeling of a cross between genius and madness. Anyway, there are solo movements of different voices, and the cat Jeffrey is a treble right at the start. If you don't know the piece, have a listen. It's a wonderful piece, Rejoice in the Lamb. Question number 2, easy peasy one, I think. Which hymn contains the words, with the cross of Jesus going on before? Da, 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 da. Yep, that's right. Onward, Christian Soldiers by Arthur Sullivan. Which led me nicely into question number 3. Whose was the lost chord? Well, of course, The Lost Chord was a song written by Arthur Sullivan in 1877. It was actually written, I think, at the bedside of his dying brother, who, if my memory serves me correct, was called Fred Sullivan. Not quite as well known as his brother, was he? Next one was an interesting one. If you got this right, you're a genius. I wouldn't have got it right. It was only because I read about it. Do you know how many monarchs have been crowned in Westminster Abbey? Well, the answer is 39. 39. It's extraordinary, isn't it? Over centuries. And question number 5 was a silly one. I know a couple of people did get it right because they let me know. But a famous composer received so many requests for locks of his hair that he bought a dog and sent fur clippings instead. It's a true story, and that composer was Franz Liszt. If you look at pictures of Liszt, you'll see he does have beautiful hair. Wouldn't make me want to write in and get some of his hair, but there we go. So, hope you got on all right. 3, 4 maybe. I'd be surprised if you got 5, but if you did, well done. So for this week's Quickfire 5, 5 obscure questions, all different. This week was, we celebrated Burns Night, didn't we? The same night as St Paul's Day, 25th of January. So I thought we'd do a Scottish question. So the question is, who was the Scottish composer who lived most of his life on the Orkney Islands? He wrote 10 symphonies and he died in 2016. Who was that? Question number 2. Who celebrated their 265th birthday this week? I think it was on Wednesday. Question number 3 is a literary question for all you literary buffs. Who wrote the novel in which a dean sacked his cathedral choir? Who was that? Question number 4. Which is the biggest cathedral in the United Kingdom? Which is the biggest? Not what you think. And question number 5, nice easy one I think. Who wrote the Bell Anthem and why was it called the Bell Anthem? Do you know that one? So there you go, 5 for this week. Hope that was fun for you. So as always, at this point in my little ramble, I point you towards the team website, www.swanageteam.com, where you can find this week's liturgy and some hymns to sing as well. Or you can come along to St Mary's either at 8 o'clock or at 10:30 for a live service. There are actually also online, I noticed, lots of stream services. You can see lists of the cathedrals that are streaming Evensong. It's 4 or 5 each night. In fact, if I can look up the link, I'll put it on my email to you as well. But it's quite good, so you can actually sit at home and with a cup of tea and follow Evensong. A lot of it is just men's voices at the moment, sadly, but at least if you want to hear some more live music, there's an opportunity for you. Good. So now to my suggested piece of music. And I thought long and hard about this. I was going to point you to something connected with Candlemas, something connected with light, something one of the lovely Nunctimitae that have been written. But in the end, I came down on thinking, you know, this has been a bit of a grim week. We've marked a very sad statistic in the number of deaths from COVID. And I think I get the impression talking to people that, you know, although we all want to be optimistic, everyone's feeling a little bit sort of down and everything's the same, the weather's bad. There's not a lot to look forward to, not a lot of good news around at the moment. And I've always felt that music is a very healing medium and, you know, it has the power to make one feel so much better. So I thought today I'd just point you to a piece you may well not know, but it's, for me, it's just one of the most wonderful, wonderful pieces. It's really a Lenten-tide piece. It's actually a funeral motet, but I don't want that to make you feel miserable. It is a piece of stunning beauty, and it's one of those pieces that you shouldn't take too, I don't mean too seriously, but you shouldn't look too deep. You should just listen and let it wash over you. I remember when I was a kid at choir school, the director of music talked to me about William Byrd's Ave Verum, which you probably do know, which he said was such a perfect piece, it should never be sung because as soon as humans got hold of it, they spoilt it. I've always remembered that, and I think this piece too comes in the same category. It's written by a Spanish composer, Alonso Lobo, who was a 16th century composer. He was a chorister at Seville Cathedral, and he later went back to be the assistant Kapellmeister at choirmaster, whatever it is in Spanish, at Seville Cathedral. And then he moved to be the director of music, organist at Toledo Cathedral. He lived same sort of time as Palestrina, Vittoria, and his music reflects the same sort of wonderful sense of polyphony. He did quite a lot of polychoral stuff where he used more than one choir as well. But this particular piece that I'm going to point you to now, Versa est in luctum, Versa est in luctum, and I've put a translation on the email as well. As I say, it's a funeral piece, and it was written for the funeral of King Philip II of Spain in the 1590s. It's a 6-part motet, and I'm pointing you to a performance by the lovely choir Tenebrae. It's just an absolutely stunning performance. You can see them singing it if you like, or you can look away and just, I suggest you just listen to it 2 or 3 times. I've put the score there as well, but I suggest you just listen to it 2 or 3 times and just listen to, well, words fail me really, it is just so beautiful. But if it gives you a bit of comfort and balm in a difficult week, then that's a good thing. Good, so that's Alonso Lobo. So I hope that you enjoy it. I'm sure you will. So my piano's behind me now, so all I've got to do really is turn around, which I shall do, but I need to edit this bit, and we'll do some warm-ups. So let's start off our warm-ups with a couple of deep breaths, just to get ourselves nice and settled and relaxed. So shoulders down, and we're just going, and again. That's right, and as always, just make sure your posture is good, nice and relaxed. Okay, so let's start off. We're going to hum. We've done this one before. This is the exercise, just a humming to and we're going and if on the octave you want to slide up, off you go. And any sort of variation on that humming and that sliding siren type thing is a good thing to do. And this is one we've done before as well, which is fun. We're going up to me are, and when we get to the top we're coming down to we are. So we're going like this. Me are, 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 me are. And we're coming down. We are, 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 we are. It's a nice wah, wah, wah. Feel that elasticated jaw on the way down. Right, me are, me are, me are, me are. And open, just relax your jaw on the R. Here we go. Me are, 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 me are. And then we are, 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 we are. Semitone higher. Me are, 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 me are. We are, 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 we are. Get the idea? Me are, 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 me are. We are, 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 we are. Me are, 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 me are. We are, 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 we are. And then make it a bit more fun. Let's do a bit quicker. Me are, 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 me are. We are, 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 we are. One more. Me are, 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 me are. We are, 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 we are. Jolly good. All right. And shall we finish just doing a few triads, just to stretch our register a bit? Let's start in G major, just going. Off you go. Last one. I don't know who managed the last one. That was a top A actually. So if you did that, give yourself a pat on the back. That was excellent. Jolly good. So anyway, I hope you have a good week. I hope next week won't seem quite like the Groundhog Week that this week did, and that there are a few highlights along the way. Maybe I shall see some of you on Sunday at church. It's my turn to come and play. But if not, stay safe, stay well, and let's hope and pray that it won't be too long before we can all get back together again. But until then, see you soon.